Queer identity has often existed in the shadows, concealed behind layers of metaphor, symbol, and story. This isn't unique to any one culture. Human history is filled with stories that speak in whispers, masking and yet celebrating what the world may not be ready to see. Among the rich tapestry of Arab folklore, these quiet yet powerful expressions take form in striking ways. Today, we peel back the curtain and explore how queer coding reveals itself in the myths and metaphors woven into Arab folk narratives. It's important to begin by understanding both the historical and cultural backdrop. Arab folklore springs from a vast and storied landscape. Tales collected not just from the Arabian Peninsula, but spreading through the Levant, North Africa, and the greater Middle East. These stories were born from deserts, bustling bazaars, palaces, and villages. They carried with them the concerns, joys, and fears of their tellers, love, loyalty, morality, but also secrecy, subversion, and longing. At its heart, queer coding in Arab folklore operates within a specific synergy, a tension between societal norms and the innately human need for self-expression. In societies shaped by patriarchy and rigid gender roles, storytelling becomes an outlet, a safe harbor for exploring taboos without challenging them outright. It allows for identity to exist between the lines. Let's enter the mythology itself, where nuance reigns supreme. The realm of Arab folklore is one where metaphors guide us toward meanings that cannot or dare not be spoken outright. Take, for instance, the tale of al-Duwaysat. This folkloric figure, known as the mother of baby boys, appears in many Arab traditions as a mysterious woman who resides outside the boundaries of society. She is neither fully villain nor fully savior. She is a liminal being, traversing the space between societal acceptance and eternal ostracism. According to legend, al-Duwaysat steals away baby boys and raises them as her own in her isolated lair. Why is this woman so often depicted shunning the norms of domesticity, community, and heteronormative roles? Metaphorically, al-Duwaysat can be interpreted as a queer-coded figure, symbolizing life outside prescribed social structures. Her unorthodox relationships, found family rather than biological kin, offer a vision of a different kind of family, a sanctuary for those who cannot thrive in traditional roles. This aligns closely with the contemporary idea of chosen family, a common theme in queer communities around the world. Then there is the curious tale of Abu Nuwas, the celebrated poet from the Abbasid Caliphate, known for his bold and sensual verses. While Abu Nuwas is a historical figure, his larger-than-life persona has been mythologized in countless anecdotes. He wasn't shy about expressing his love of wine, revelry, and notably beautiful young men. His poetry makes remarkable departures from traditional romantic narratives by ambiguously or openly queering the love story. And here's where queer coding flourishes, not only in his celebratory verses about unconventional love, but also in the way his tales often position him as a transgressor who thrives despite societal constraints. In Abu Nuwas's world, the divide between morality and freedom blurs, and his character often becomes a stand-in for rebellious queerness itself. Arab folklore amplifies the idea of Abu Nuwas as an unabashed disruptor, undying, undefined, and uninterested in fitting into tidy categories. He's written in such a way that listeners know he's living outside the boundaries. Whether he's queer-coded intentionally or organically through his actions, Abu Nuwas becomes a metaphor, a symbol of resistance, survival, and joy. Don't forget the perpetual shapeshifters in Arab folklore, the Jinn. These supernatural beings made of smokeless fire transcend gender identification. Jinn can assume forms that defy traditional binaries, appearing as both masculine and feminine, as neither or as something altogether otherworldly. Their shape-shifting nature has long been interpreted as a metaphor for fluidity. Fluidity not just of form, but of identity. Their ability to defy the rules of humanity makes them allegorical reflections of those whose identities similarly challenge societal categorization. Stories of the Jinn are often surrounded by mystery, secrecy, and even danger. In the same way that queer communities may have historically relied on secrecy for survival, the Jinn find power in the unknown. In some interpretations, the Jinn are deeply connected to queer metaphors, especially in the way they occupy the margins of human society. To embody ambiguity, fluidity, and transformation is to mirror the liminal spaces often inhabited by queer individuals. These coded examples, veiled yet vivid, share a common theme. They are all rooted in the safety of metaphor. Arab folklore doesn't necessarily claim these figures as explicitly queer, but the coding is clear when viewed through the lens of queerness as transcendence. Transcendence of form, transcendence of restriction, transcendence of the mundane. But here's a crucial point to consider. Why doesn't folklore spell out queerness overtly? The answer lies in the social dynamics of storytelling itself. Folklore is shaped by its environment. For centuries, Arab societies, like most others, maintained rigid expectations around gender, sexuality, and behavior. Stories, however, allowed subversion to exist in a form that was palatable and thus permissible. A story could depict the eccentric poet, the shape-shifting Jinn, or the mysterious outcast, not as rebellion but as intrigue, as other. And when that other is queer-coded, it opens a door for alternative identities to thrive without requiring direct confrontation with societal norms. This queer-coded storytelling of the past resonates more intensely in the present, where metaphors become both legacy and liberation. They serve as reminders. Arab culture, like any other, has always found ways to hold space for queerness. Not openly, perhaps, but respectfully, compassionately, and quietly. The key takeaway: Arab folklore has long celebrated fluidity and resistance, even if indirectly. It makes room for identities that would otherwise be left in the margins by embedding them in the language of myth and metaphor. These stories don't erase queerness. They protect and preserve it, allowing it to live on through subtext. So the next time you hear tales of mischievous jinn, intoxicating poets, or strange women who raise baby boys in secret communes, listen carefully. There's always more to these stories than meets the eye. They speak to a history, a quiet, defiant history of queerness that still hums beneath the surface, waiting to be heard. And today, we have the privilege of carrying these whispers forward, amplifying their echoes, and celebrating their truth. Queer identity, after all, has always been part of the story. It just takes a careful listener to uncover it.